Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Drop Frames for another week, another show. Zeke, what were you wiping your? What was that?
No, that was a really shitty salute. Just right across the face there. It was real dumb.
That looked like a Tim Taylor salute to me, like an Al Borland salute. You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Our salute to jackhammers.
Oh man, I missed that show. It's a good show. I'm gonna have to watch that. Anyways, GoldenBoy, welcome to the show. It's been a time. How long has it been? 6 months since last time you were here? Something like that?
Really?
I think. Yeah, time's kind of flying.
Dude, that's crazy. It feels like it was just the other day.
I know.
So like not like the other day, but it feels like it was at least like 2 months ago. Well, I don't now. I'm tripping. Like, how long have we been home?
Coming up on a year here in about a month.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I saw a rewind today to our former president saying that the virus is not that bad and will be okay, and everything will be fine in about a month. So, yeah, coming up on a full year.
Long month. Long month.
I still think sometimes that we're trapped in March of 2020. I do believe that we're just in a vortex here. Anyways, how's it been going, man?
For a hot minute, just real quick.
Sure.
As soon as we came on the screen here, I was desperately searching for is someone's audio going crazy? Are we hurting someone's ears? Because your global emote, that's what people spam when an audio glitch makes something like super loud.
True.
The face just goes. I was just like looking around for some sort of fucking glitch or something like that happened.
That is true.
Mission accomplished. That's the purpose of it. It's although it's meant to, give you disgust, it's also a great fake out, it happens actually a lot. I did a show in LA recently, Zeke is just going crazy.
Zeke's going real crazy.
That's it. That's a what face right there. That actually is a perfectly fine what face. So I did a show in LA, and it was like a Twitch rival show, and there were a bunch of what faces, and the guy messaged me. He's like, "Hey, did we do something wrong?" And he was like, no, it's just because he's on the camera. So they're just spamming it. So I'm glad people know, because I look very different from that picture. That was taken damn.
While back. That was during the Overwatch days.
Ago.
Yeah.
No, that was my Call of Duty days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was taken almost a decade ago. So back when a small company called Major League Gaming was a thing.
Oof.
Yeah. You were a former employee.
That's true.
So yeah, that's pretty wild. But yeah, it's always cool to have that.
Did you know that you're on knowyourmeme.com?
Yes.
Okay.
I am aware. I tried to use it as a cool thing for my wife, but she still thinks I'm not cool. So I'm actually gonna put my wife on blast here. She is a fan of Chilled Chaos. That's her favorite streamer. Not her husband, who streams all the time. No. She likes Chilled because he plays Among Us. So she watches Chilled all the time while I'm live sometimes. Can you believe the blasphemy?
Yeah, that's messed up.
Breaks my heart.
That's messed up.
Breaks my heart.
Does she keep the active tab open on your channel at least for the view or no?
Yeah, she flips back and forth. If she hears me say something about her, she'll go into the chat and then say something to just completely, I guess, knock down anything that I would possibly be saying that could go against her.
Yeah.
Gotta keep up appearances.
Exactly. That's really it. She's one of those people that shows up early, hi, and then leaves, like that episode from The Office where Jim wanted to do that with Robert California. He just showed up, just shook hands with everyone and then left. That's the way she is.
Yeah.
She's a good woman. She's a good woman.
Well, besides putting your wife on blast, what else have you done the past 6 months? Any more Hollywood excursions, or have you been grounded for this entire period during these COVID times?
I have done some traveling. I just came from LA. I did Schumer Bowl for Twitch. It was the NFL athletes and the Fortnite community, like top players and pros, like all played. It was pretty sick. So I did that. Mostly, like, the only place I've gone has been LA. I've gone LA and back multiple times now. I did Back for Blood. I did the Back for Blood reveal show. So that was super fun. They had it in like this cornered warehouse. It was pretty sick.
Nice.
So I did that. All the COVID restrictions. Every production has their own set of COVID guidelines. It's fantastic. It really is. Like one place you'd have to get swabbed every day.
Oh,
that was fun.
Yeah.
So great.
The deep swab or just the mouth swab? What are we talking
Oh,
here?
the deep swab. Oh, it's just right in the nose.
That'll wake
that
you
one was
up.
that
The
was
brain
GlitchCon. Yeah, we had to do the brain puncture every day
Ooh.
at GlitchCon. And on top of wearing masks, as well as the those visors that they sell now, the plastic visors.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to wear those all around the venue. That was great. Then the Back for Blood one was fun because we did the blood test. Did you know there's a COVID blood test?
No, what is that?
Yeah, it basically you take like a little thumb thing, like
Thumbprint
a
thing?
thumb. Yeah, it's like a little needle, and they prick your thumb, or they prick like your middle finger, whichever finger, right? And then they'll take a little bit of
Whichever one hurts the most.
whatever one hurts, whichever one inflicts the most pain,
Sure.
and then they'll put it into like this little container that has I guess an area to show whether or not you're positive. It's like this, I don't know how to describe it, but you like take your blood and you drip it into the thing. It's really just wonderful experience. So did that, had to do that multiple days. That's fun. Yeah. And then this most recent one was just more brain puncture. So
I kind of would prefer
just good times.
the thumb prick or the finger prick rather than a brain swab. I feel
totally prefer that one. I was like, man, I want my finger to look like a polka dot, like just go nuts. Don't.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit more expensive to do that one. So.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I guess it's one swab versus like a chemical strip of some sort. So. And
it always depends on who you get. I whenever I sit down, I'm like, be gentle. I say that to them. I say that to the doctor's face. And then the doctor's like, I guess, they just shove it right in there and just spin it all around, take out some brain. It's great. It's telling you, real good time. Real good time.
Yeah.
Especially with that brain puncture one, you got to hope you get somebody who is like actually kind of relaxed and chill, and you're not just like number 100 for them today that they have to get done that hour. So it's just like, oh man, I had to get a COVID test up near the beginning, and I could tell that I went midday. You could tell the people there are just not having it. Yeah. Man, it was like an assembly line. Hey, lean your head back, look forward, both hands on the wheel. Whatever you do not let go of the steering wheel. And it's like,
you will crash your car.
Yeah.
Is your car in the park position?
Oh my God, dude. Oh, they made sure the engine was off. They made sure the engine was off because some people will kick their legs when we take the test. I was like,
oh yeah.
Oh my Lord, dude.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I did one test in New York. The worst one I had was in New York, Midtown Manhattan. I was doing a shoot for T-Mobile, and we had it was like this spot across Central Park, so it was like right next to where we were going to be filming, because we're filming in a park. And the doctor comes in. He looked like the beekeeper from WandaVision. He just was dressed just like him. And I could have sworn I saw a little pestilence, not too sure, but maybe it was just in my stupor. And then the guy, I had a conversation. I made the joke, hey, be gentle. And then the guy just looks at me. He's like, yeah, definitely. And he just went like no care in the world. You could tell the amount of care that this guy gave was minimal. He just was so annoyed by giving all these tests, and that was just that was the worst one I ever had. And ever since then, it's like I've always measured it to that. So now it's better. Now it's like everything else is small potatoes. I could take it.
Someone in my chat said, and I agree, that it would be much cooler if they did it like the COVID test, like they did it in the movie The Thing. They just get everybody's blood in a petri dish. And then if COVID defends itself, like it jumps out of the dish, then you know who has it, and you exile them. I think that would be that's the kind of future I want to live in.
That's
I think in those cases we burn them with a flamethrower, right? Isn't that what we do?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. That's right. Oh, you don't exile them; you burn them with a flamethrower. That's right.
Yeah. That's the
well,
next
I would
season
imagine
of
what
Survivor.
you do, but you exile them and then you burn them with a flamethrower. I feel like they should have
on the way out.
On the way out, exactly. It should be like one of those things, and they're running out in their exile, flailing their hands all over the place on fire. I think that's really the only way to go.
Yeah. Well, that way
have Kurt Russell
After you
tag
ship
him
them to Antarctica.
Throw a tagline in there from Kurt Russell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
He'll be on set. He'll be. Golden Boy probably knows Kurt Russell.
Exile or death? Why not both? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's
Well,
good.
cool. I'm glad at least somewhere the world's still functioning, and you're able to continue life as somewhat normal, with all the LA and some New York gigs. We're gonna talk Valheim because I know you've been playing some. I know Cohh's been playing some, but we'll talk about that in the second half of the show. We'll start with a little bit of news. Actually, before news, Zeke brought up a good point. You're in the stonk business, and I'm going to let Zeke carry this because he was really excited to talk to you about stocks.
I've been following your tweets, man. Like, dude, you are not my financial advisor, but you kind of are. I'm letting you know that right
now. I don't want to take that title. Oh,
no,
Lord have mercy.
Listen, man. No, I put in some money. Like, I just viewed it like Vegas. It's like, I can lose this. So let's see what happens. Let's roll the dice.
Sure.
And I seen your tweets and stuff. Like, are you still holding on? Like, what do you got, man? Give me the scoop.
So
disclaimer: Drop Frames and all associated parties are not financial advisors. Please don't follow anything that we do. We don't know what we're talking about, and we're all amateurs. Thank you for watching.
Very good. Thank you.
Very for important. Entertainment purposes only.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to give this distinction because someone messaged me the other day, angry about me tweeting about Dogecoin.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, and then they were like, you're just making kids think that they could invest in the stock market with this Dogecoin nonsense. And I was like, one, kids should not be investing in the stock market. That's the first thing. Yeah. Okay. Because when I was a kid, I didn't have enough money to invest in the stock market. Hell, I didn't even have $1 in my name. So how the hell is kids investing in the stock market? That's wild. But the other part of it was that, I'm like, I never told, like, he was like, oh, this is the same person who told you to buy GME when it was high. No world would I ever say that. And I was very transparent about my position with GME because I streamed it. I streamed when Doge was like shooting up and it was like hit like 8. I think it was like 8 cents.
Yeah.
And I showed my position on GME. I only had like a few shares because I came in really late. I had like 5 shares max because it was super expensive. So I was really, really late to that train. And I would say I lost like a couple $100, but again, it was like, I was just okay to lose that because me and my wife talked and they're like, this is what we're going to put into this. But I have like I'm kind of spread out across like a variety of different things. The one that hurt me, that I would say that burned me the most, because I'm a fan of their product, as you can see by looking at me, was Cohh.
Oh, you went in on Cohh. Okay.
I went in on Cohh low. I was there at like $11. Okay. And it got to 90 and I had like 100 shares and I didn't sell. I didn't sell. I ended up getting profit, but yeah, because again, I am. You know what the thing is? I say this all the time. Like, growing up in the Bronx, they don't teach you this stuff. I don't think they teach this anywhere. But like owning stocks is not like a thing that kids like me thought about. Right. So we had no education. We have no idea. So like, obviously you're sitting there, you're like, freaking diamond hands. You don't want to let go because you believe in it. And then, you just see it tank and it's like, what do you do now? Yeah. But there were a lot of people that went really hard on GME. And I think that it was a 2-pronged thing. It was like, obviously people want to try and make some money because who doesn't? But also it was about going after the hedge funds and like what, just the crap that the U.S. stock market pulls off all the time, but Wall Street pulls off all the time. 2008 was constantly popping up of like what happened there. So I think it was just like a lot of anxiety regarding that. And then I just saw like all this garbage, and I was like, sometimes, man, you just gotta say something. You just gotta call it out for what it is.
Right.
And that's what I was doing. I just didn't expect to call it out and then people like gravitate to what I was saying, because I just was like, okay, I'm just a voice in the noise, like it's nothing crazy. And then, like Zeke, you said that and other people said that too. And I was like, why are you listening to me? Like I am the worst one. But as far though as GME goes, I lost like maybe I said a few $100. I think it was like $200 or $300. The one I'm still holding on with is AMC. I'm still very much in the AMC train. But it's for reasons that I genuinely do believe that the theater will bounce back once COVID.
Well, they're doing
back.
good today. They're on a rise today. I'm looking at my Stonks app. Yeah. So you're doing all right there. Zeke, you were gonna bring up make a point some.
Yeah, well, I viewed it more like it's like a baseball or like a professional sports team. You know, it's like I heard like I bought your T-shirt, I bought your hat, like that money was gone. Like you said like, you know, Doge costs whatever, and I was like, I'm gonna get on his team. You know, I'm gonna wear the GoldenBoy jersey. It's gonna be like, yay, go Cost, go Cost. And then it's like, oh, they got beat in the playoffs. Oh shit.
Yeah, that's actually how it felt.
And that's how I view it. You know, it wasn't like I didn't throw, you know, multiple thousands of dollars or whatever at it. It was like, you know, just like you. It was like what I could afford to lose. And I lost it. So no big deal. Like that's what happens. I mean, I didn't lose it, but I definitely I'm down 30%. Like 30% of what I put in. I have 70% of my principal still left. So.
Right. Well, hopefully Elon just keeps tweeting about it randomly, like he did this morning, to make it spike.
That's the lunar part, man. Because did he say he like bought some Doge for little X or whatever? I was like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, for Nas, yeah.
It's just
and it
ridiculous.
spiked. It spiked when it did that. I was awake and watched the spike. It spiked to like 7.8, 7.9. But right now it's back down to 7.4. So yeah. We I guess I won't out
pennies,
the other
guys. That's 7.4 pennies. This was
yes. Yeah, for sure. I won't out the other content creator because that's not my business. But we definitely have a group where like now we're trading stocks every morning, and we're just kind of fucking around, messing around, failing as we go.
Yeah.
Sometimes seeing success, and it's like, hey, we bought in on this company that just announced that they're going to sell weed in the UK, and it's up a lot. Good job, everyone. And then it's like, by the way, Doge is down. We're fucked.
Yeah.
That's something I would love to be a part of. Like, it's like fantasy stocks, like fantasy football. Like,
I mean, it's
like
real
Wall
as
Street,
shit,
like
though.
Wall Street bet, you know? No, but I'm saying it's gambling. Like, it's gambling is all it is. Like,
totally.
If, like, in the fantasy football, fantasy baseball, whatever, things that I've been a part of at work, various jobs that I've had, everybody puts in like $100 at the start of the year. And then first, second, third gets whatever. And that's basically what I'm talking about with this. Like, I would love to be a part of like a fantasy stocks league where it's like you can trade stocks and like they trade football, like NFL players, like in fantasy football and shit. It's like, no. You give me 3 of AMC for 150 of naked. Okay. And then I'm going to give you a little juice on the top that, you know, like shit like that. I would love it.
Yeah.
Give you a little Castor Mine, you know, maritime. I don't go ahead and mess with that. Maybe a little sundial. Who knows? You know, to the moon. And then
sundial. It's been.
I think Nokia is on its way, man. It's prepped. It's primed for a rocket.
Yeah, it's true. I didn't get into all of that. I have a shit ton of Doge, which I almost sold this morning when Elon tweeted that, but it's gonna hit 10 cents soon. I believe. Just a couple more tweets from Elon, and then we're there.
we're relying on a man to just put out tweets, go on Clubhouse, which I don't know if you guys use, by the way. I still don't know how I feel about that app.
I don't have the app, but I know what it is. Yeah.
I was listening to his like conversation about it, and he was like, yeah, you know, I think that life is, you know, something about life. It loves irony, and how ironic would it be that something that started off as a joke becomes a primary currency of the world, and then you just see Doge stocks just continue to climb up, and it's like, what is going on, dude? This makes no sense.
Bitcoin bumped too because Tesla bought like 1.5 billion of it the other day.
Huge amount. Yep.
Yeah.
And they're also going to be accepting Bitcoin for their cars.
Yeah. It went from like 31 or 32 to almost 41 or 42 that day for BTC. So.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's fun to watch that stuff. It's maybe more fun to be successful in that stuff and not so fun to lose in that stuff. So partake in it if you just want to light some money on fire, and don't if you don't want to light money on fire. That's what I would say. So
again, for anyone just joining us, don't listen to any advice that we give you. We're not professionals. We're all amateurs. And again, hold on to your money.
And to close it out, I'll just say that the most important thing, see, stocks are stocks to me, like in the grand scheme of things, like they're okay. They provide value, obviously, if you are, constantly paying attention to it. But it's very unhealthy to do that. And I realized that that's what I was doing. Like there were days where like I needed to stream, or I needed to prep a video, or I had to do something for work. And I was just like looking at Yahoo Finance tickers just like go up. And it's like, what am I doing right now? This is really bad. Yeah. And the other thing is, there are more valuable things that actually have a great positive influence on your life than stocks, like, getting a house or owning a car. Like those things are better. Property is always great. So, that's where I stand. That's what I'm trying to do next is like get property, because, we've lived in this freaking Brooklyn apartment for God knows how long. So it's like about time we get some dang property. But
sure,
that's where I think you want to put your focus on,
It's very true.
Art, quick question. I see a lot of people say like, I'm not a financial advisor, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Does that mean like we can get sued if we like give financial advice?
Yeah.
Well, if you
somewhat,
if you say the fucking the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. Like, I am not an NFL advisor. Like, is it different? Like, I'm asking you, is it like a huge difference?
There are certifications you can get to give financial advice.
Yeah.
So if you were to emulate or act like, that you were informed and then to give that advice, that can get you in trouble. I don't know the specifics, but I know that there's a reason those certifications exist.
Yeah. The SEC will come after you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They will find you.
But it seems like they don't know shit either.
Like if you act like you know what you're talking about, then people might just think you know what you're talking about. So if you act like you know what you're talking about and you give information that you may not know, and then somebody makes a financial decision based on that, like it's really important, especially because we all have generally pretty big audiences, to be like, look, I don't know what I'm talking about, and to say that regularly, so they don't go, maybe I should put all of my money into Dogecoin because he said something good about, like make sure they know, like if you make the decision, I don't know what I'm talking about, so you definitely don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And also if you say something like buy this, right? Mm-hmm. Like that is essentially like, the same thing as like giving financial advice. If you're telling someone to buy something, that's why like when that dude like tried to attack me on Twitter, I was like, I never ever said buy something this, because that is just not good. Like,
right.
It makes no sense.
Yeah. Well, what's the difference between saying buy this and like saying Doge to the moon or something like that? Like, it's just legally, like he didn't say technically he didn't say buy it.
There's nuance there for sure.
Like, there's also, and it's also like memeology, the study of memes. For instance, like I was having a lot of fun with Diamond Hands, and especially the first day of GameStop and all that stuff, like to the moon and stuff like that. I haven't bought a single share of any of that, and frankly, I wouldn't recommend anyone does, unless you literally have, like you guys are talking about, money to throw away. If you aren't sitting with your finger on the trigger, or you're not in a place where you can get to a computer quickly, and even in some cases, if your finger is on the trigger, you're with the wrong company, Robinhood, then sometimes that sale might not go through when you even plan, so it's like you can lose a huge amount of money doing this stuff, while at the same time, it's like a cultural phenomenon in a lot of ways. So that's where the line gets a lot more blurry. Like you can participate in the meme without giving financial advice.
Yeah.
So Diamond Hands.
Diamond.
I don't understand the reason why it bothers me, or not bothers me, but like kind of I'm not confused, but I can't wrap my brain around it, because the financial advisors, the people who go to school for this shit, like a lot of times they're just as good at predicting what's going to happen as people who predict the NFL. Like someone who is like, very educated, like they have injuries, they have this, they have that, the offense against this defense, blah, blah, blah. Same with the financial advisor. It's like, they're still guessing,
Yeah. Well, in a lot of cases too,
right.
like we're getting really into the weeds in this, but in a lot of cases too, financial advisors have like, they're part of a bigger company, and those companies will deem a stock to be safe or not volatile. Mm-hmm. And because of that, that's why they'll suggest to their clients to buy into said stock, because it's not volatile. Like all of this stock that people are buying, at least around like the GME shit, no financial advisor would ever tell you to do any of that. They would stay the fuck away from it, and advise any of their clients to stay the fuck away from it because they're so volatile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And it's, I guess this is one of those cases where
never guessed GameStop, for instance.
correct.
Like all of the people that have been doing stocks for their entire lives see this GameStop stuff happen. You know, we have people literally becoming millionaires overnight because they followed that reading club, you know, Reddit and what they were saying. Shout out, by the way, to the voice of Meg from Hades for that video. But it was like all this kind of stuff is just like Zeke was talking about, how even the most informed, you know, can't call an upset. Even the most informed of the stock market couldn't have ever called something like with what happened with GameStop. So, and that's just the beginning. If anything, this has introduced a lot more volatility. Now that this kind of stuff can happen, and it's so clear that nobody really knew it was coming, who knows what else is going to happen? And now all the people that caused it to happen are coming up with all sorts of other things that they're trying to do. And so, yeah, it's going to be pretty wild for a while. Even more volatility.
And just to clarify, someone in your chat said it, JP. That was really good. Dang it, I missed who said it. But they were like, "There's a difference." It was Kazan said, "Investing versus gambling."
Right.
Like that is there is a difference between stocks like that, like GME is a pure gamble versus like a financial advisor. Like I have a financial advisor, and you know he set up a bunch of like SEP IRAs and index funds and all sorts of different things. That's a completely different beast versus like what the hell happened with GME. But I do think it was funny that it was GameStop, and I think that is the best part about all this is that like 2 GameStops in my neighborhood just closed. Okay, because I went to go buy some Pokemon cards and they had just closed down. And I was so tight, and I was like, GME to the moon. I guess this is a believe in the stock, I guess, because it's doing really well. But yeah, it's a little wild.
It was. The whole thing is wild, and will probably be wild as the SEC starts to get involved a little bit more now. So
okay, this makes sense. The ICALAS, I'm not sure how to say AICALAS. Financial advisors have a fiduciary duty to their client. Now that makes sense to me. Like a financial advisor, you pay a financial advisor, right?
Not
like someone who is a licensed financial advisor.
Yes.
Or they get paid like mad money. They get paid some other way. Like they get paid to do what they do, and they have a fiduciary responsibility to the person, to their client and stuff, not to fuck them over.
Right.
So, and we don't. So that definitely makes more sense to me, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
If you want to,
we're all just being like,
Listen, I'm invested. Like I understand the difference between investment and stock trading because I have, like an accountant who like has my shit invested very, very wisely, and I've seen like, a 7 to 8% return every year for the last 5 years, like clockwork, because that's the way it usually works,
Yeah.
I mean, barring a huge crash, that's what happens when you invest rather than, trade stocks like a gambler.
Exactly.
Yeah. But if you want to start your investing fantasy league, sign me up, dude. I'm all about it, bro.
Okay, man.
Shoot a boy a call. Know what I mean?
The investing fantasy league. Oh, boy.
Wait, who's nominated? I want to know this person.
Anyways, let's talk about video games, as we sometimes do here.
I like video games.
Yeah, it's been a news-filled week, to say the least. I guess let's start with the fucking Cyberpunk stuff, because I think it's more... I don't like...
People suck.
Yeah, and CD Projekt Red just is having a tough time. They're just having a tough time.
And the worst part,
up?
Is some of the language that was used in the publicly released letter, which is, I gotta, as far as how CDPR is handling that, like more power to them. They're not giving in, like good stuff there. That's a smart move.
Yeah.
But the fact that the letter they released, like clearly says, we have information that we will release that will damage your company and make your shares drop. Now it's like, even if you fix your shit, people know that you have a lot of information that probably people shouldn't know about.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I said it on Twitter. I don't even know what comes. It's like a bad to worse to like whatever's after that. Like it's so bad, man. It's so bad. It's so bad. Oh, their shares did drop already, and this stuff hasn't even been released. Yeah, I mean, like not only
9 hours ago,
they actually released all the stuff.
They released the Gwent source code 9 hours
ago.
No.
If you read the little hacker message, yeah, like they actually said that. I think they actually said I think there was like financial documents or private documents or things that I don't even know if are related to a game. I think it sounded like it was more related to the company.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I think they also did call out source codes for games, though. I'm almost certain they did.
Oh yeah, they did. They called out a lot of stuff. They hacked an entire one of their private servers, so they got a ton of stuff.
Yeah, and that's 9 hours ago. The Gwent source code leaked, so they are already pushing stuff out. Yeah, it's funny because cybernews.com is reporting the Cyberpunk 2077 Gwent source code is leaked after the ransomware attack. Yeah, here's the actual post that they put out yesterday, and then they also released the notepad file from the people that hacked them with the information, which included lines like "You have been owned," which
epically pwned, actually.
Epically pwned. Oh, I thought pwned was the meme. I thought they said owned. Okay.
I could have been. Hold on, I got to look at it, but I think it said epically pwned or something like that. It was written like a dude who is the guy from the Hacker Man GIF. You know, like that. I think that's who hacked them.
They said pwned. Chat said they definitely said pwned. Okay. I did not. I thought that was the meme and that they said owned, which was already a crazy thing. Yeah. So I guess we'll just have to see. I mean, it's real. If that Gwent source code was leaked, obviously like leaking source code of games is bad, but what Cohh was saying is also true in the sense of like HR documents, financial documents, like that stuff, eventually it gets to like personnel information. And that's even scarier when you're like potentially straight up doxing employees. So we'll see what happens. They've already said that they're like not going to like cave to it in any way, but who could have ever predicted that like this is where this story would go? The story of CD Projekt Red all those years ago when Cyberpunk was announced, it's like, oh yeah, that game's going to come out, crash and burn. It's going to end in the company leaking or having all of their source code leaked, as well as financial and HR documents. It's just crazy. I don't really have
just read it. It's great.
Yeah,
it's
go ahead and read it. Yeah,
it's a great thing. Hello, CD Projekt Red with exclamation points, like 20 of them on either side. You have been epically pwned. We have dumped full copies of the source codes from your Perforce server for Cyberpunk 2077, Witcher 3, Gwent, and the unreleased version of Witcher 3. We have also dumped all your documents relating to accounting, administration, legal, HR, investor relations, and more. Also, we have encrypted all of your servers, but we understand that you can most likely recover from backups. Okay. If we will not come to an agreement, then your source codes will be sold or leaked online, and your documents will be sent to our contacts in gaming journalism. Your public image will go down the shitter even more, and people will see how shitty your company functions.
Yeah.
Didn't like grammar or spell check this? Okay.
It may not be the English
in your company. Yeah, that's probably right.
Very large option.
Yeah.
Investors will lose trust in your company. The stock will dive even lower. You have 48 hours to contact us. It's just so good. It's like out of a fucking
I would say
late
not
90s hacker movie.
Be very careful saying good there. I think the language used is maybe entertaining, but the situation is fucking abysmal.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry. It's entertaining. I apologize. You're right. Not good.
Yeah. They also made another statement, like a follow-up to the tweet, saying that to our ex-employees, as of this moment, we don't possess evidence that any of your personal data was accessed. However, they're still recommending caution, like enabling fraud alerts and stuff like that. I'm sure that they also sent out some correspondence to their ex-employees as well, but that's good to know. I will say though, now I have faith in humanity, but let's be honest, probably not going to happen. They say that they're going to send this stuff to like gaming journalism. Does any reputable gaming journal website run the story or like run like the information that they get? Because it seems like the reaction right now is kind of in the favor of CD Projekt Red. You still have some awful people that are like, you release a bad game and blah blah blah. But would even like a Kotaku run this? Like I would like to think that they wouldn't, because it's
I think
the way that they
depends what it
obtained
is.
it is illegal.
I was gonna say, I hate to say it, but if Kotaku were to get a data dump from these hackers that had a bunch of information that they could then, report on first, I think they'd take that in a heartbeat.
It depends what it is. Yeah. I feel.
Yeah. It really, really does depend on what it is. But if it's something that is advantageous for a lot of hits, I would think they would run it in a heartbeat.
Damn, man.
Especially
it might
if they
be
confirm it. Like if they got a really bad bit of news and they call CDPR and they're like, look, we just got told this. You want to comment on it? And that was followed by a long pause with no, we don't want to comment on it. They'd probably run that story.
Yeah.
I think it might be like a
Yeah.
like a standoff situation. Like all the journos are like, someone do it, and then we can all do it. Just we need someone to go first.
All they have to do
Someone
is
gotta go first, and then we can go.
report. Yeah, they just refer whoever reported it first and just say Kotaku is reporting or so and so is reporting, because then it's like it all gets traced back to that person and it's all over the place anyway. So
Yeah, it gets really sticky from a journalistic side of things, because it also might be illegal to run some of that information depending on what said information is. But most of those places would probably do their due diligence to make sure they're not going to like open themselves up to lawsuit.
hopefully.
But I think like if you run a story and say like, hey, we got sent a bunch of stuff about X, Y, or Z, that in itself is like a pretty big story, right? So just the simple fact of saying like, hey, we got sent this shit. We're not going to say what it is right now, but that in itself is like a big deal and would carry, that would be advantageous to the people saying that for whatever publication or site that they are representing. But yeah. It's a shitty situation, and again, it's not one I ever imagined CDPR would ever be in.
It is the absolute last thing CDPR needed right now.
Yeah,
like with everything else that's going on, they were already in such hot water, and then it's like for this to happen, it's just like, yeah, it's really, really, really unfortunate.
Yeah,
the worst people that are losing here are the devs. So like the people that are trying to work on these games and deliver good products, it's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Has the game gotten better since because I know not really. I stopped playing not all that long ago, but it was fine for me, especially when I did the tweak to like kind of uncap the frame rate and stuff. I did like the RAM, I forget what it was. It worked for some reason. Not a programmer. But since then I kind of slowed off on it. Is it still bumpy? Is it still super glitchy? What's going on?
They haven't done like a huge patch yet. They've done one of their first kind of, we're going to try to knock out some of the more big bugs, but they haven't done any feature addition. They haven't, they've got a long way to go still. The last big fix was to fix something that was introduced in a patch having to do with some injection stuff that they unfortunately had in there. But that's what comes when you're trying to fix it as fast as they're trying to kind of get it fixed. So it's not yet to the, like I'm waiting to do my second playthrough, which I still want to do at some point. It is definitely not near the point where I'm going to go back to it or anything.
Yeah. Zeke, are you still playing your playthrough of it?
Yep.
To double down on the wordplay?
Hour here, hour there.
Yeah.
It has a lot of shit. The game has a lot of content.
Yeah.
And if you do all the side shit, man, like I'm still muddling through. Yeah.
A lot of the content there is really, really, really good. Really good. Some of the side quests and a lot of the main story is just, it's top notch, man.
Yeah, I think
I didn't realize your shit. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say the miss for me was just the hacking. That was like the biggest miss for me as a fan of the world and having played the pen and paper and all that stuff, and to hear how going in and like jacking into the to like the matrix, if you will, of the internet or of the network was so cool. And that was just something that I kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. But like the rest of the game it's really vast and it's beautiful. Like to see Night City, this thing that I've only ever read about and seen like drawings of, when the first Cyberpunk books came out, it was just so cool. And yeah, it's unfortunate, man.
Yeah. And it's not like this story will continue. Like it's not going to be the last we hear about this leak. And especially with them leaking the Gwent source code this morning, like there's going to be more of that over the next couple of days as this, comes to light. So I'm sure that story will be back next week for us to jump into. And hopefully the upswing is soon, right? Like hopefully it's not just a complete plummet downward for the next 7 days in between the shows, but we will see. What else is out there? Not necessarily a on the scale of the CDPR leak, but was some interesting things that happened with a Terraria dev who went on to announce via Twitter that they are canceling the Stadia version of Terraria because the developer's Google account got locked.
For weeks.
Yeah. The tweet says, "My phone has lost access to thousands of dollars of apps on Google Play. I had just bought Lord of the Rings 4K and I can't finish it. My Google Drive data is completely gone. I can't access my YouTube channel. The worst of all is losing access to my Gmail address of over 15 years. I absolutely have not done anything to violate your terms of service, so I can't take this no other way than you deciding to burn this bridge. Consider it burned. Hashtag Terraria for @Google Stadia is canceled. My company will no longer support any of your platforms moving forward." It's important to note that also this was after, I think, a couple of days or a week of like trying to figure out how to solve this behind closed doors. He didn't just like go straight to Twitter as soon as this happened. But yeah,
and Terraria would have been huge for that platform.
Absolutely.
A much needed win, especially after the developer first party dev shut down just a week ago. So to have that compile on top of it is just, that's bad news.
Yeah.
That's bad news.
I did see, I think the tweet got deleted, but there was a Google Stadia person. I don't know what staff, what level of staff they were, but they were tweeting at Andrew to like have the person that just said all that to like have a conversation because they need Terraria, as Cohh just said, on the platform.
I was half expecting you about then just to say like, so YouTube replied to the thread. If you're having trouble with your account, please send a PM with your account information.
Oh God. That would be the worst. That would be it was a PR dude for Stadia. The tweet was deleted. I want to read. It was I'm not going to say the person's name, but the tweet was, "Hey Andrew, I'm sorry this is happening. Can we chat over DM? I think it's outside your TAM's working hours at the moment, but I'd like to help if I can." So
you said that got deleted?
Yeah, he deleted the tweet. This was like screen grabbed after the fact.
Wow,
interesting.
Why would he delete that?
I don't know.
Was told to.
Yeah, might have been told. Because I think if there's like, he's not the only person to have his Google account locked, and he's probably not the only person to have Google just like stonewall in terms of a conversation. So if he's getting special access or privilege from the company, that would look bad from a grander standpoint. But also,
if he's going to get screwed over, everyone else better get screwed over too. This is an equal screw over policy. There are no specialties here.
Darn right.
Everyone's getting screwed.
Yep.
Yeah. You get screwed. You're cool. You're screwed. That's how you got to do it, Google. Shout out to the real OG.
I had no idea that like this could happen. The reason it popped up on my radar is because everyone was saying like, is dogpiling on the commentary of like, if you get your account locked, like it's very, very fucking hard to get it back. So I don't know what happened or why it got locked in the first place. I didn't see any of that information. Don't know if it's out there. It might be, but it makes you wonder like how much of the world has all of their stuff in something like Google and how much of that stuff can just be gone in like a snap, right?
Dude, I actually replied to that thread because that's scary.
Yeah.
I mean, like I have a lot of stuff in Google, including my YouTube. And it's like if all of that just got locked overnight and there was no way to ever get it fixed and you have no one you can talk to.
Yeah.
Like that's horrifying, man.
Yeah, and also the way the lock, like something like that is, it sounds like it was like a very clear violation of TOS, like of some kind, but to get stonewalled like that, and also to be a game dev that is actively working on a game that is like, you would imagine that he has a contact. I mean, you know, when I was at Twitch, we had direct contacts with you know, certain parts of the studio, like that I could call on my phone, like easy. So for him to not even have that, and we're not even talking about like some small indie game, like even though Terraria is considered like an indie game, I mean, Terraria is a freaking big deal. I mean, how many copies did it sell? Like
a lot.
Like I saw like 30 million or something like that, like some absurd number.
Yeah.
And to not have any kind of communication with a studio that makes a massively selling game, and you already need that game for your platform, is mind-boggling. And it makes me question, like, really just the amount of red tape that goes on at all these corporations. Like, they're too fat, they're too heavy, they have too much bloat, and they have to trim it. It's the same problem that happened at Amazon. It's the same problem that happens at Google. It's all the same, right? In order for you to talk to one person, you have to talk to like 8 different people along the way to just for you to be able to chat with that one individual. It's absurd. And that's why I said, like, when I was at Twitch just starting, we had direct contacts. But as we became Amazon, and then, you know, Amazon gets involved, then the layers started to appear and started to like manipulate how the process would go. It's just, it just blows my mind that something like that could happen, and it has to resort to a tweet.
Yeah.
And what's even crazier is the timing with the first party stuff, and the fact that, you know, Google just announced that they're shutting down pretty much all of their first party stuff for Stadia, which then had the public go, oh, okay, so in that case, you're probably going to be focusing on your third party. And then all of a sudden, this guy, who's like one of their top third party people, is saying this kind of stuff. It's like, what are you focusing on? Are you just giving up on Stadia? Like, you're clearly not doing first party anymore. This is how you're treating your third party. Like, what is going on over there?
Yeah, and they had didn't they get Jade Raymond to do a big,
we were talking about that last week. Yeah. Rockstar
Jade Raymond, bro. Yeah. And you botched it. How do you do that? That's just mind-blowing. It's incredible. Like, that kind of failure is something I wish to achieve, so that this way I can continue to fail upward. You know? I need that in my life.
I wish to achieve that level of failure. I like that.
Yeah, because clearly it doesn't affect them. You know, like you shut down. It's crazy.
The world of C-level executives is not necessarily built on failures, right? Like, failures mean nothing to that. If you fail at a company, you just go to another company and see if it works out there. Like, that's how that stuff goes in kind of the tech biz, unfortunately.
Have you guys tried Stadia at all?
I think me and Cohh tried it.
I and tried it, and for my area, it was not good. Like, there was a noticeable like 0.5 to 1 second lag on almost everything I tried. Every action game I played was not playable. I have heard that some people have had good times with it. Like, some people are in good areas, and almost everything they play is somewhat responsive. And I just wish it was like that for everybody. But the worst part is that's what we were saying was what was going to be the problem. Like, this has happened so many times for systems like that, where it's like, it doesn't matter how much they want it to work or how good the tech is you're holding in your hand. There's infrastructure issues that you can't get over just because you want to. So, yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate.
Yep.
I played a game of PUBG on Stadia, and I was actually impressed with it. It was pretty good. So I'm assuming, because I'm in New York, maybe, you know, a little bit easier.
Routing might be better there, yeah.
Exactly. Even though my internet connection is terrible, I'm assuming, you know, whatever they have out here just works really well with it. So it was not bad. Obviously, noticeable latency, like, you know, you couldn't get like true precision aiming, but it wasn't bad, you know, and I was impressed. But there wasn't enough to keep me engaged, and the fact that I'm paying a subscription for this on top of also buying all the games on a cloud that, you know, when we've seen what's been happening, right? Like, didn't they just shut down Battleborn, right? Just recently.
Yeah.
And they shut down the server, the campaign. You can't play anything. Even if you own the disc, you can't play anything. So it's like,
Gone.
there's just no way in hell that I'm going to give my money to Google for a cloud thing that's probably going to disappear in 6 months. Get the hell out of here.
Right.
That's not happening.
Yeah. I think when that stuff got announced, and I think I've said this before on the show, so apologies if I have, but it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, if like Google can't figure it out or like make a product around there with the funds and like the infrastructure that they have, like, I don't know who's going to make that like dream work unless it's Steam and they just allow you to like use your entire Steam library that you already have. And somehow that works.
That's you're talking about like the NVIDIA system, which people seem to think is, probably going in a better direction right now.
Yeah. So we'll see. Like it's that type of tech where I think it's not going to surface up for a while, especially when we were all saying like, oh yeah, this is the next big thing if it works. So then didn't work.
Didn't work. xCloud's good though. I did try xCloud.
There's some services that work. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was able to play. I mean, it wasn't perfect again, but I was able to play Halo on a phone. That was kind of nuts. So I'll take that. Small wins.
Yeah, the xCloud stuff is cool for sure. Following up on the Amazon stuff that we were talking about last week. This came out during the show last week, so I didn't catch it. But Amazon's it's interesting when you go and like look at all the stuff they reported on last week about Amazon, that their new CEO, Andy Jassy, made a statement that says some businesses take off in the first year and others take many years. Wrote Jassy, currently head of Amazon's cloud computing division and Frazzini's boss. Frazzini is Mike Frazzini, the head of Amazon Game Studios, and he was the subject of the Bloomberg profile. And though we haven't consistently succeeded, though we haven't consistently succeeded yet in Amazon Game Studio, I believe we will hang. I believe if we hang in there, we will. So,
New World is that game. New World's that game for them. Honestly, that's their best shot right now.
Yeah,
it's because it's the furthest along.
Yeah,
it's really their only shot because it's the only thing that they have right now.
They have some unreleased stuff. They have some stuff that isn't announced that are working.
Yeah,
working.
They have a Lord of the Rings RPG that they're working on, even though Lord of the Rings Online already exists, but they're doing a Lord of the Rings MMO. Then they also have a sci-fi MMO. They're really like heads first in the MMO genre, which I find to be quite interesting, considering like everyone else
got the fuck away from it.
Feels like they're trying to get away from it. Like Blizzard's like, all right, if you want WoW Classic, we'll give it to you, a bunch of heathens, but whatever. And then Amazon's like, bring on the MMOs. I just don't get it. But it could be because of their cloud computing system.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, to be fair, like we need more good MMOs, but the keyword there is good.
To make. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're so hard to build.
They're tough to make, and being good is another thing. Also, I mean, there's so many MMOs right now that are in development hell. Like Camelot Unchained, Crowfall, Pantheon. All these companies that have been working for like 5 to 8 years on these things, and they're still not cresting their hills. But yeah, I mean, the world could definitely use some more good MMOs. Oh my lord!
Someone in my chat said, I forgot that Amazon did this. They got Lost Ark, the AAA MMO. Yeah, the publishing rights. So that could be a massive hit. Yeah. So yeah,
I have high hopes for that one. That game sounds really cool. If they can pull it off and get it over here and working, like that'd be a big win. That'd be a big win.
From the I forgot what stage it was, if it was a beta or whatever, but there was a decent amount of streamers on Twitch that were playing it, and it did look good.
The Russian beta, was it?
Yeah, it was some not English beta that had a English patch that you could apply to it that I think was fan made. I'm not 100% certain.
For Lost Ark?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it was just that people downloaded the Korean version, and there was like
an English
you could find like the English section, but it was like not finished at all or something like that. I don't remember but I remember everyone was down because like I was going to do it, and then I got to the page and it was all in Korean, and I was like, well, not smart to figure this out because I barely know English. And then that was it. So kind of just gave up.
Yeah. We'll see. Speaking of MMOs and World of Warcraft and Activision Blizzard, they say that they do not expect Overwatch 2 or Diablo 4 to launch in 2021. So I think they're just going to continue making $1 billion, probably tenfold of that from Modern Warfare.
That second one is really confusing.
Diablo 4.
What are okay? No, Overwatch 2.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yep.
as far as I knew, they weren't doing a huge amount with that. Like, I thought it was just some new maps and
That's what I thought.
Like, not a bunch of new. Like,
I-
what's taking them?
It
Have they
makes
been
me-
doing a lot of stuff for Overwatch?
I don't know enough because I have not visited that world. GoldenBoy might be a better source on that, but he also might know a lot more than the public does, so he might not be able to talk about that.
No, I don't know. I don't know
Okay, good.
any behind the scenes. I know from what I've understood, just the scope has changed, right? I can imagine
It has to
because
have, yeah.
yeah, like I played it at BlizzCon, and it was just one of those missions that you play in Overwatch, and you would run around as Lucio and Reinhardt and Tracer, and you would do like little fun things, but there really wasn't any depth to it. If anything, it was mostly just the cutscenes were sick. Like that was like the big chunk of it was like storytelling, which is something that they obviously really want to do.
Right.
But when I saw that, I was like, this year, Overwatch League needs to get through this year in order for it to survive. And
Totally.
I love Overwatch. Like it's so near and dear to my heart as a fan, as a talent, as someone who's been invested in the game for years. But to hear that Overwatch 2 will not make 2021 was like gut wrenching, because we all thought that this year was going to be the what do they call it? Like just the holdout year. That's what we thought this year was going to be. But then COVID hit, and then all the homestands kind of disappeared, because like the beauty was going to be the Overwatch League was leaving the arena and it was going to start going on the road every single week. So that was going to be the big hook, that you were going to see home and away games every single week.
Right.
Then COVID hits, it all gets sent to home. All the players, go to Korea, creates this really weird region splitting that happened, where New York is now a Korean team, or New York is in a Korean region, not playing in the Eastern region. It was really topsy-turvy.
I didn't know about any of that. Jeez.
Yeah, and then you find out the game's not coming out until next year, and it's just like, oh my god, like this can't be happening. Like I'm really concerned about the game, and they're not doing any new content besides skins for Overwatch. So everyone's just playing the same maps over and over and over again. I can't do that. Like I can't mentally do that.
That's really unfortunate, man.
Toxic douchebags and ranked, like who wants to do that? So I don't know. So apparently it's a much bigger game, and visually it's supposed to be a huge update, but it does boggle my mind that even now it's still not ready.
Yeah. Well, someone in my chat makes a good point that BlizzCon is a week from this weekend, which I, as a Blizzard fan, admittedly had no fucking clue that was the case.
I heard they're going to announce Overwatch 3.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, I remember when Overwatch 2 was announced, and it was like, what? What the fuck does that? Why not just call it Overwatch? Why does it have to be 2?
I remember being in the crowd and seeing it, and everyone was like, Overwatch 2, and the number came up. I was like, oh, they're doing a second one?
Yeah. The
What
first
about
one's done.
one? It's perfectly fine. Why don't you give me some new stuff there, dog?
Yeah. It's weird.
Lord have mercy.
I think every BlizzCon, at least the past 2 or 3 years, has been like, Blizzard's got to show something. They got to bring it. And it's been like, next year. Next year's going to be the one. And now I'm right. If you ask me if I'm excited about BlizzCon this year, I hope so, but I don't have any proof to be excited at this point.
Have they announced they're going to be
Although-
like charging people a lot to watch it and stuff?
I think the opening, I think they're going to do it. If they do what they've always done, the opening will be free, and then they'll have like a digital ticket to watch the other stuff. I don't know if that's the case this time around.
Yeah. It might. Well, they probably won't, because, it's like, also the name is not great. It's called BlizzCon Line.
Dude,
You
I
know?
saw that and I did a double take. I was like, you're going to call it Conline. Like I'm conning you. Like Conline, Blizzard Conline. Like,
That's not, you guys are joking, right? That's not real.
no, absolutely.
No,
It's Blizzard
Blizzard Con Line, dude. I get if it was kind of called BlizzCon Live. Like, I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? Like, that sounds good. But like BlizzCon Line, what's wrong with you?
How does
marketing.
a PR person not see that, or a marketing person, and think like, guys, we're literally calling the show Conline after all of the
I know,
shit
right?
that we've put
Exactly.
out there? Like, Co nailed it right on the head. How does that clear
Online.
marketing and PR? Man.
Zeke,
By the
we
way,
should
guys,
hire them for our
I gotta reset my
investor
rotor
fantasy
real
league.
quick.
That's
Be right
right.
back.
Okay, cool. Yep. Yeah. That's a lot. Yeah. Chad also pointed out that it is completely free. There's no like digital pass or anything like that. So you can
Okay,
watch the
that's
entire
good.
weekend for free. I don't know. Like, I guess I'll watch the keynotes are always fun to watch. The openings are always fun to watch, but like,
Yeah.
the people that I would watch those for are no longer with the company. So I don't like, it's going to
Yeah.
feel real weird when like some fucking suit walks out there and he's like, let's go Horde. And everyone's like, hey, show us the fucking games. They don't even scream for the Horde. They just say like, we got our phones, jackass. Right? The entire culture is just shifted around that entire company. Code disconnected.
Dude,
He said he was going to go do something real quick. He'll be back
What
soon.
if Dreamhaven is like, we're going to do Dreamhaven line, same time, same place, but instead it's just Mike Morhaime just sitting there talking about the game they want to make.
Yeah.
You know, I'll take it.
I don't know, man. I guess we'll see.
What if it? Let's keep going with it. What about the Destiny Guardian Online?
Well, you know, I mean, they did was it Gathalion, Broman, and then did Guardian Con, which is great. Now, or now it's not Guardian Con anymore, but that was like a great name, you know. And I'm sure like Destiny probably wanted to see that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like Guardian Con, that's fine, right? BlizzCon even makes sense. But like, you know, BlizzCon line, like you're setting yourself up for failure right out of the gate. That said, though, I do think it is going to be a pretty good show. I think they're going to show more about Diablo 4. I think they're going to give us a deeper look. I mean, they better, you know, at this point, they better. They have no choice. They can't show up and everyone has phones it, because otherwise it's going to be an absolute disaster.
I think this year will be the year that they just let Call of Duty continue to make them billions, and Diablo Immortal will come out, and that game, while it will most likely face a lot of like pushback on social media and everything, the quiet majority will continue just to pay money on their phones and make $1 billion off of that very easily. I think that game will be wildly successful, potentially more successful than Diablo 4, just because of how phone games work and how much that audience.
Are you talking about COD Mobile?
No, well, even COD Mobile makes $1 billion a fucking year. Like that just does so well. Yeah. And it's the silent majority of that audience that just rakes it in for Activision Blizzard. So
true that.
Yeah, and then of course the chats point out a bunch that Burning Crusade Classic will most likely be announced to continue on from Vanilla Classic, which I think was also very successful for them, just to get people back on the monthly subscription. Funny enough, I was subscribed all the way from December till now, and I have not logged in WoW. In fact, it was not even installed on my computer. So they're also probably raking in money still to this day from World of Warcraft accounts that people just forgot that they're paying money on.
Jeez.
So yeah, all that and more. We'll definitely be covering the BlizzCon stuff. I don't know if we'll be doing a live co-stream or anything, if we even can to begin with. But we'll see, and we'll keep you guys updated on that.
Yeah, that subscription stuff sucks, man. That just happened to my OnlyFans. Like all of my they just kept going, and
that's how
I forgot to cancel them because I don't look at them.
Yeah, you totally don't look at them.
Yeah, I'm like in months.
That's how they get
months. I haven't looked at anything.
That's how they get you.
Yeah.
Warner Brother Games has now successfully had a patent approved for their Nemesis system after multiple attempts. This kind of sparked the conversation of what game developers / publishers can copyright or patent, or, you know, when it comes to systems in games. I think that there are another handful of examples. My brain is failing me on what those examples actually are that have been patented, but the big talk right now is the Nemesis system from the Shadow of Mordor, and really the Mordor games from Warner Brother Games is patented. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? I've seen similar systems in other games, so does that mean they can no longer do it? I don't know. Obviously, we're not lawyers, but it is kind of weird to see systems like that be patented so that other games cannot steal them. What do you guys think about it?
I'm trying to think of like, I really want to know like what other systems have been patented, because it's my contention, or no, my first instinct is to, the knee jerk reactionary shit's like, oh, they could have just patented like dodge rolling in like Dark Souls or something, and then no one else could ever use it. Like something as simple as like pressing A to jump or something like that. That to extend it all the way out to its ridiculous, conclusion. But like the Nemesis system was something that was kind of like, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't it kind of innovative, and everybody like was really like blown away by it and shit like that?
It was a big deal, yeah.
Yeah, it was huge because it was a very unique way, and because I know like when the game came out, everyone was a little concerned given the track record of Lord of the Rings games. Like, you had some decent ones, but they weren't like, they were just action brawlers. You just run through cut with Legolas more than likely, because he's like super weeb, and everyone's like, yeah, just go for it. But then like this game, they decided to make it something a little bit more in depth, and I think like it's a really smart business move, but in the grand scheme of the industry, it's really messed up. And because I think that, like, can you imagine if Rockstar had decided to patent the way that they designed open world games? Because like they kind of created the framework for how people do this. Like they Grand Theft Auto 3 was like an incredible undertaking. There were open world games that existed prior to that, but it was the way that Rockstar did it was so unique. And I'm sure that there were some methods and systems that they put in place that allowed them to be able to render out the cities the way that they did, even though they needed like 15-hour long loading screens. It still was a really, really awesome undertaking. So can you imagine if like they went and patented that? Like then we wouldn't even have what we have now. That said, I don't know if the Nemesis system is like as big or as a mountain mover as open world or as BR. Because like also PUBG tried to do this as well. If you guys recall, where they tried to sue Epic.
That's right.
for Fortnite, because they stole like the concept of the BR, and then I guess they were just like, nah, fam, you can't claim that. So I don't know, maybe it's something in a particular coding that Warner Brothers did that was like super unique to their team that they wanted to ensure that they preserved. That's my guess.
Yeah, people kept like shouting at me that Namco patented loading screen games.
Yeah.
For 15 years or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, that was opened up in 2015.
And another thing to point out, patented just means that you have to pay the person with the patent to use it. Yes. It doesn't mean you can't use it, but you can't use it without their permission and or paying them.
Yeah. So it says the patent filed was as, quote, Nemesis characters, Nemesis forts, social vendettas, and followers in computer games. End quote. Effectively codifies the functions of Monolith's Nemesis system and the sum of its parts as the property of Warner Brothers. While the language in the application is fairly obtuse, as most patents claims tend to be, the quote short version is that the patent covers a system featuring procedurally generated NPCs that exist in a hierarchy and interact with and will remember the actions of players, have their appearance/behavior altered by players, and whose place in that hierarchy can change and affect the position of other NPCs in said hierarchy. And yes, that's the simplified version, IGN reports. So I'm sure a lawyer got in there and wrote some very verbose language on what the patent actually means and how it's structured. But it is real weird because, I think the video game industry from a developer side is like just based on iteration, right? Like, you go look at Breath of the Wild and how many like developers that impacted and just the different systems from that. I mean, you can even go way further back than that. And look at all the systems. I mean, Dark Souls, like almost every game has been, oh yeah, this is like a Dark Souls mechanic. Like that in its very nature gets uttered almost every game.
You know what a really great example of that is?
What's that?
Valheim.
Oh, where it's just a summation of everything.
It's basically like everything that has already been done before with a few cool mechanics on itself, but it's just everything that's been done before really well.
Yeah.
Like there are like I'd say 90% of Valheim has been done in other games. But they just took that and they were like, we're gonna do this super well in a bug-free environment. We're gonna throw some of our own spice on it, and all of a sudden it's this incredible product.
I mean,
so it's like to think like one of the things that I tweeted out a hot take on that stuff.
Yeah.
There were a few people that were like, oh man, well, how, this is dumb that you would think that patents are bad, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, imagine a world where every time a game comes out, anytime there's a major release, it comes with a packet of packets for that game or a pack of patents. Like, it's like, here is our new game, and here are the 5 patents for what we came up with. Here's our second new game. Here's the 7 patents that we came up with this game. And it just like built and built and built and built and built. And it just became regular for whenever a game to come out that what patents came out with that one. And it's like, that would be a nightmare situation. I mean, sure, it's happened a few times over history, but like to see a company try to do something on something as kind of iterated on as just kind of like an enemy system that grows and builds itself. And, like, it's very strange that they did that, especially considering also if you look at like Mountain Blade even has systems that are kind of similar to that with the way that the lords and stuff work. And it's like, what exactly are they trying to do with that?
Yeah. I mean,
it's just weird, man. Bad faith.
Chad had the same idea I did when you started going down the path of like, what if it came out with this like pack of patents? The indie scene is just destroyed at that point because it becomes so expensive to make a game. You have
probably
to license
like WB, like a cool indie game gets announced, and then a WB lawyer knocks on their door. So that cool system that we saw in your preview thing, you're gonna have to look at line 35 here. We're gonna need 35% of your licenses, and and the upfront fee.
The to me, the more ironic thing, you brought up Valheim, but like Riot exists because it just straight up stole the idea of a MOBA. Not stole, but took the idea of a mobile and iterated on it. Blizzard exists because it just took the MMO from EverQuest and made a better MMO. I mean, that's kind of been Blizzard's entire thing the past 15 years.
And imagine dude, Dota started as a multiplayer map. Imagine if Blizzard had then made its own Dota and then patented it. And it's like they could have just literally pulled the rug out of the guy who came up with the thing in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think it becomes a norm though. I think that Warner Brothers is a really interesting publisher studio. Like I don't think that you would see this as a standard across the board, because even just Warner Brothers games in general have always been, it's going to sound weird, but I've always viewed them as kind of like isolated from the broader gaming industry. Like,
I think I agree with that.
Even when you go to like cons, when those existed, they'd always be like just there. You're like, oh, Warner Brothers is a game studio. Okay, cool. And then you just kind of just like move on with your life.
I think for me, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts on it. I always think of Warner Brothers as like the Hollywoodification of video games. And so I've always kind of thought them as like, oh yeah, that's Hollywood making video games. Even though that's really fucked up to say because they're just game developers like everyone else, but it's like, oh yeah, that's the Hollywoodification of video games.
And they have Back 4 Blood as well.
They have a bunch of IP.
Which is a game I'm very much looking forward to and made by a fantastic studio. But like, I mean, you're not wrong.
Basically like a new version of Left 4 Dead.
Yes.
Basically the same thing.
So they're going to go ahead and like patent a system in one game and then rip off another game.
You want to know what else Warner Brothers games also ripped? A little small game called Infinite Crisis, if you happen to remember that game.
Yeah.
Which was a DC Universe MOBA.
Yep.
Yeah. They ripped that right out of the Riot playbook, It didn't really work out that well.
Yeah.
But play Superman, pretty lit.
I remember that being at PAX. That was the only place I saw it. Was it PAX?
I was supposed to commentate that game. I was supposed to cast it.
Wow. Yeah. Dude, it's been so long. It literally took me a second to remember it. Like, that was a thing for a while. That was a big thing for a while. I remember that, like, wow. There you go.
That came out and everyone was like, DC's going to do it, and Marvel's going to do it, and Pokemon's going to do it. But Pokemon's doing it, but they did it like 15 years later. But, and they did it on a phone. Yeah, it's pretty wild. So I do think it's like a bit of irony that Back 4 Blood is coming out is literally a rip of Left 4 Dead. Both games phenomenal, by the way. And then Warner Brothers is like, but this system that we made, we're going to protect it. And it's like, okay, maybe. If they come out and try and patent Left 4 Dead, I like that format, that system, there will be some fighting.
And see, and this is the thing that's so weird. Like, what in their minds? Like, it first of all, that patent for this Nemesis system, apparently, according to the article, not the first time they tried it. They had to like try multiple times to get the specific patent.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, that means you obviously spend a lot of resources to lock down this one element of a game that honestly wasn't even really in. Like, what is your perspective on this? Why are you spending resources getting this locked down? You know, is this the only thing you're going to do it on, or is this just the start of you like nailing down a process for future projects? Like, why would they do that? What is the purpose of them doing that? And especially considering it probably cost them tens of thousands of dollars in lawyer fees and you know, all sorts of fees. Like, what is the thinking there? Do they actually think they're going to make money?
Yeah, I think they potentially. I mean, to put on their perspective hat, I guess it could be the fact that, like, if you apply the idea that they're like the Hollywoodification, right? So they deal in licenses all day. They have the Lord of the Rings license, which they probably pay a fee to the owner of that estate. So if you think in that way, maybe their goal is to make money off of that system by just licensing out that system to other AAA games, like Ubisoft, who would love to have that in an Assassin's Creed game, right? Or whoever.
In following that line of thinking,
if
they are doing this to make money, wouldn't the next logical step be they would do that to as many things as they could?
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. I think how it works is if you can cite, like someone in chat said this, something similar, but if you can cite a previous instance of this mechanic or whatever, as long as you can go back, and you can't go back any further, that's the only person that can patent it, is the first thing, the first instance of it coming out. So anything that's already been, like, there's a lot of shit that's like 40 or not, maybe not 40, but like, you know, 30 years old.
It's not easy to
probably
do.
could never patent. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it took them since 2015 to finally get this approved, according to this article. So yeah, I don't know.
It's such a weird thing to fight for so long. Like, I don't know, man. I really wonder if there's something bigger going on that just people aren't picking up on.
It's just one dev that was upset that like Ubisoft sold. He's like, I'm gonna fuck the Ubisoft.
Dude, maybe it's some kind of vendetta thing about like some guy who left the company and was going to develop like this cool game based on the Nemesis system. And this one guy was like, you know what? You, I don't think you're going to do that. You can talk to my lawyers. Like, I really do wonder if there's like because it seems so long to fight for something kind of obscure, and then. Yeah,
it is a little weird. It's
going to be very interesting seeing where this goes.
Yeah. It will. I hope it's the last time we're talking about video game pens, but
for sure
it's probably not going to be, unfortunately.
Like people have pointed out, this is not the first time. I mean, even Tetris, like, didn't they somebody replied to, I think Swifter actually responded.
They had a name for it.
Yeah, they actually like copyrighted their little blocks and stuff and everything. So I mean, and you know, Konami is the infamous one, like you guys mentioned earlier. So I'm sure we'll see it again, but. Yeah. Hopefully not a lot.
Yeah.
The Medium has a patent? Wait, really?
For what? The way that they do the camera splitting?
Maybe the camera stuff? Yeah, that would be kind of wild. I hadn't heard anything about that. Somebody in my chat just said that.
Yeah.
Split screen stuff. Wow. Oh.
Maybe Microsoft plans on using more of that. I bet you if we dug deep enough, and I'm sure you don't have to dig that deep. There's probably some insane patents out there that exist in the video game world that are upheld that we just never hear about because people can't use those type of things in their games. So you just don't talk about them, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I'm wondering if there's going to be, like, I would assume not, but you know, there's a name from like the people who
patent trolls.
Yeah, there you go, patent trolls. That's the thing. Yeah. Like who patents something that has never been patented, like it's never been patented, and they take the initiative, they do the research, and they patent it, and then they start charging, frivolous lawsuits.
Yeah, someone like tries to patent like the sprint button or something like that, or the jump button.
Yeah,
some absurd shit. Yeah,
I could see that happening.
I could totally see that happening too. Yeah. Just a couple more things and we'll take our break. I don't know how like newsworthy this is, but there was GameIndustry.biz was reporting on it. He's now apologized for his Reset Era post. But the Moon Studios, Ori devs, CEO and game director Thomas Muller called other game studios out for misrepresenting their games ahead of launch. The post was titled, "Why are gamers so eager to trust and even forgive the snake oil salesman?" Targeting industry veterans, or veteran Peter Molyneux, No Man's Sky developer Sean Murray, and Cyberpunk 27 studio CD Projekt Red. He accused them of lies and deception, selling features that don't exist, and overhyping their games, making fools of players. He also criticized journalists for happily playing along each and every single time, blah, blah, blah. He's obviously come out now and apologized for all of this, saying he, quote, did not choose the right tone or platform to express his thought, which, that's not an apology. What the fuck? That's just, hey, I got caught saying something.
You call that a non-apology.
Yeah. Unless
Wait,
that's... maybe
he's apologizing for what exactly? For calling Peter Molyneux and these other guys like snake oil salesmen?
Yeah.
I mean, he's right, but
Yeah.
the weird thing though is he's right, but I think they all got lambasted publicly. Like, I mean, I guess you could say that when they were saying the stuff before the games came out, that maybe there should have been a little bit more, you know, like follow up there. But I mean, all those three people got ripped in half. Especially Peter these days when he brought out that mobile app, and I don't even know if he's even paid the guy that won it yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, yeah, they all got destroyed. Sean Murray, especially, like he, you know, notoriously pitched the features he wanted in the game, not actually were in the game. Granted, you know, he followed up and it's now a huge success story. But I mean, even at the time, people were really hating on him when No Man's Sky came out.
Yep.
So kind of a weird look
and
there.
I'm still waiting for that version of Fable that Peter Molyneux talked about because that sounded dope as hell,
right?
Yeah, you and my fiance both.
I was on that X. I remember reading that Game Informer article, and I was like, "Yo, this game sounds crazy! Like they're gonna be able to pull this off." And then the game comes out, it's like, "Oh, you skipped the entire time from being a kid to an adult." Tight, you know, because that's like not what I wanted to do initially. Yeah,
that's like the Jackie stuff in Cyberpunk.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that was also just like
that was surprising. They definitely like CD Projekt Red definitely teased that there was going to be like this whole epic story of getting to know Jackie, and instead it was like a 2-minute montage. Yeah. It's kind of like, there goes all that gameplay and interesting character development.
Dancing in a club, and then he's gone. All right, great, good job. Thank you so much. Yeah. I will say though, I think the Sean Murray instance was very interesting because, yes, he did. You kind of have to feel for Hello Games because they were a really small studio, right? Like,
well, he wasn't a PR guy, right? Like that's to cut to the chase.
He wasn't a PR guy.
Yeah,
he was a dev dude. He shows how like you can see how passionate he is about this.
And
then
nervous.
the whole time, and then the whole time, the conversation on the internet was like, man, if a team of 10 people are able to pull this off, my God, that'd be really cool, you know. And then PlayStation comes in with the marketing muscle, you know. They just start throwing everything behind it because PlayStation desperately needed that exclusive to like really pop off, and then it just tanked miserably. And PlayStation slowly backed away, and then they backed away, and then they just let Sean Murray and them take the brunt of it, which was well deserved, to be fair, you know. But also, let's not forget that Sony, like, they were the ones that were pushing that thing to the moon, baby. And then once it looked bad, they were like, I don't know anything about No Man's Sky. That's that guy. Go talk to him.
Yeah, and
that's how it felt like. You know, they just left him kind of hang out to dust, and they sold millions, but PlayStation was a big part of that. But you know, but fanboys going fanboy. Now I mean that they're gonna hold their sword up high for PlayStation, the Sony Defense Force.
That's true. Yeah. So that's that. He has a much longer apology now that I've gone and read it, so I don't want to completely discredit it. But you can go find that on GameIndustry.biz if you are so inclined. What else? Is there any actually like, I know Final Fantasy 14 announced a new expansion. What else was there in terms of like?
And that's the last one, right?
It's the last one
From
of
what I
the
understand.
main story. Well, okay. It's the last one of the current story, 6.0. And the new thing is that usually the patch. So I have to explain the patch structure to why this is a big deal. Every expansion is a main story. So 5.0, 4.0, 3.0. And the patches afterwards, 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, are always the end of that story. So there's a big culmination at the end of like 5.0, but then they like wrap it up 5.1, 5.2, 5.3. Then 5.4, 5.5 are the introduction to the next story. This one's going to be different because 6.0 is the end of the current story. 6.1 is a brand new story. They're not really saying like what is what. So that's like the big news going into this. To say anything about like what was in the trailer is, it's weird talking about the game because it's like, hey, I could spoil 200 hours of where it's going if you really want to watch that story trailer. But I'm not gonna. So if you are so inclined, by all means, it won't make any sense. But yeah, you can go check out the trailer if you really want to. But it looks cool. Like I think the fan base is super into it. They did go on to announce some stuff that kind of pissed off like the 1% of the 1% when it came to the hardcore raiders. They pushed back a thing called an ultimate, which is a fight that is geared towards like the 1% of the best players that will clear it. And that is now coming out in 6.1 instead of 5.5. So essentially like 9 months from now is maybe even more than that. A year from now is when that patch will come out. So the people that are, the hardcore raiders of the game kind of just sit on their fucking hands, for the next year.
Yeah.
Like they don't really have anything to do, which sucks. Like there's no way to say that that's a good thing. But yeah, it's a very small percentage of people that actually clear that. Not saying that that's a reason for it to occur, but yeah, Square stated like COVID being the main reason there. Pushing all that stuff back.
Shocked.
So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, if you want to watch, me and Jesse Cox streamed all of that. It's about 4 hours long, was kind of their big reveal trailer. That's up on my YouTube if you care. And then was there any other like game announcements this past week? Or is it all just like
EA might cancel Anthem?
Oh yeah.
What happened there?
So apparently like Papa EA is going to be talking to BioWare and they're going to be like, so how are we looking on Anthem? And because BioWare has been incubating it, and apparently they're either going to go for it and say, okay, we're going to release it, or they are going to publicly pull the plug on the whole project and announce that it is done. So, and that they are done with it. So it's a very awkward situation. I find it kind of weird that this isn't going on behind closed doors.
Yeah,
like they're kind of putting BioWare on blast in a lot of ways, and it may be because EA specifically wants to like make sure people know who's at fault, which is kind of weird. But yeah, it's definitely a strange situation.
I just got an image of like a farmer like waiting by the back end of a chicken, going, "Okay, it's gonna be a turd or an egg." Turd or an egg. Okay, let's go, egg. Come on, egg. Ah, it's a turd.
Yeah,
that's Anthem.
It's a weird situation.
Yeah, wow. Okay. I just saw the Jason Schreier tweet about that. Okay. Yeah.
So, okay.
Weird.
But they did announce Anthem next. So that, they were being very public about it because a guy that I watch all the time, Force Strategy, he does like, he follows like all the MMOs and stuff like that. Big fan of his.
Yeah.
And I watch all his videos for Anthem because seeing him react to Anthem stuff is hilarious. Because it's always like, you could tell how excited he was for it, only for it to just be the game that it was. Like my brother as well he's really big into a lot of those games. Plays Division all the time, Destiny all the time, right? And then he called me one time. He's like, "Yo, bro, do you know anyone at EA about Anthem? Because this game is terrible." I was like, "Oh, no, I don't know anyone. Sorry, I can't help you, bro. Like, I don't know what to tell you."
I need to tell him some things for me.
Yeah, like just manager know anyone. Just yeah. Well, because I did a lot of work for EA, and I had I had like known some of the Anthem guys because EA Play. I think I did a segment for Anthem. Shit, I don't remember. It was so long ago. And yeah, so he asked me that, and I just was like thinking to myself, like, the game can't be that bad. Then I like go and I look and I see like, yeah, no, it was pretty
that bad.
Yeah.
It was that bad. Now I think, like, you know, if they're going this far, being so public about, you know, Anthem, and then to just publicly close it, that has to be the perfect way for that story to end. You know, it was
execution.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
that's basically what this is. It's like standing Bioware up in the town square. It's like, we decree thee guilty.
Jesus.
And they're just gonna like drop the guillotine, and Bioware, and there goes Anthem. They're dead. Off with their head, excessive profanity style.
Anthem keeps looking at the phone, like waiting for a call from the governor. Like, they're gonna call. I swear to God, they're gonna call.
It's too real. It's too real for me. Yeah.
That's good.
See what happens next week. Yeah, I had not heard of that until today.
Find out next week what happens with Anthem.
Yeah.
You have to have a teaser at the end of it, JP. It's like, what happens with Anthem next week? Does Andromeda still suck? Find out next week on EA Fails.
Wasn't there also there was also some EA news about them like changing some of the cutscenes around Miranda, and like a bunch of gamer nerds were pissed off because they were like, we want to see the ass. Show us the ass. You're censoring our game.
I mean, like, she's like the perfect example of human, like gene
She's
stuff.
supposed to have a
like,
really nice ass. She's the perfect example of a beautiful ass. Well, I know.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they're changing the ass.
Guys, it's just lore based. She's supposed to have a perfect.
No, not.
She's
we want to see it though.
You want to see it.
Lady.
Yeah.
And
it's
this
like
is
going to see the statue
lore.
of David.
Well, I think
they put a sticky note over his wiener. You don't do that.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
What are you going to put pants on 2B next? Is that what's going to happen here? This is ridiculous.
The scene in question that they're going to change is the one where she's like talking about her upbringing and how like she had a terrible time, right? And then it's just like a straight up shot of literally just her ass while she's telling you about her family troubles, I think is what they're going to change. I didn't look into it at all. I only saw that tweet.
That's because that part was boring and they wanted to give you something to look at.
Jesus.
It made perfect sense. The story dichotomy was brilliant.
All right. You can
Guys,
reach
there's only
Cohh
one
directly
way.
at twitter.com/CohhCarnage for any and all, whatever. If you just want to hang out.
The only way I can enjoy family drama is if I see an ass. If I don't see an ass, I can't enjoy it. Jesus, God, get it out of here.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
That's exactly what happened at my family reunion. We were having arguments. Everybody was showing their ass to keep everybody interested.
Montana's weird. All right. Montana.
I was going to say, that's right.
Very strange place.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
And then did you guys see the casting that's coming up for this Borderlands movie? Also, did you know they're making a Borderlands movie? Because I didn't until all this casting started to occur.
Jamie Lee Curtis is Tannis?
Yeah. Kevin Hart is apparently Roland, I guess. And is it Kate Blanchett is playing someone else as well? I didn't know any of this was happening until I didn't know that this was a movie to begin with.
This is the one time that I wish Randy would just stand up and be like, it was all a trick.
Maybe I'm wrong about this, and chat will be very quick to correct me if I am. But isn't Borderlands like not in a good spot right now for a movie? Like they're not. It's not a
3 was supposed to be the evolution of 2, and it definitely wasn't.
Yeah,
like it was very much seen as more of the same with a weaker story. Some of the DLCs, from what I understand, have been better. They brought back some fun characters. They developed some of the ones that people like. So it was very kind of like, okay, we need to give you something that we know you guys want, kind of thing. So the DLCs are better, from what I've heard. But I mean, if anything, it kind of brings it back up to where kind of they were kind of hoping it would be, and definitely not that big step forward they were wanting it to be. So I don't know, man. It does seem like a little bit of a weird place for it, but yeah.
I almost lost my mind because I thought Eli Roth is a director.
Yeah, I just read this right now.
I thought that it was Ubol. I misunderstood it. I thought Eli Roth was Ubol, and I was just like, Kevin Hart is doing a movie with Ubol. Like that just sounds awful, you know? But no, it's not that. So thank God.
So Roth is directing it, but he has producers, Avi Arad, who was responsible for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And the writer is the writer from HBO's Chernobyl, Craig Mazin. Like, what the?
Oh, really? I'm seeing Aaron Berg.
This might be an old. Maybe it's changed. This was from February 20th. I'm like just learning about all of this. So.
Yeah, I'm seeing Aaron Berg and on IMDb, and and actually Craig Mazin. Yeah, Craig Mazin and Aaron Berg. So Aaron Berg's claim to fame is G.I. Joe Ever Vigilant. Which
sorry, what?
Yeah, no, apparently that's his claim to fame.
Okay.
It's a G.I. Joe
movie?
short movie. I don't
You
really know.
couldn't even get a full length out of it. Oh man.
Yeah.
All right.
It almost made it to DVD.
Oh,
Yeah.
and Mazin's also responsible for the Last of Us show as well on HBO.
Where's that
Weird.
coming
I think
I don't know.
the reason why it makes sense, it's my wife said it to me because I saw this and I was mad because I was like, and it's an animated movie, by the way. It's not.
Wait, Borderlands is animated?
I'm pretty sure it's an animated movie.
Oh, so
is
they're
what
just
I
the
read.
voices,
Yes.
but the characters
Yes.
have voices.
Weird.
Yes. So that was the reason why I was mad because I was like, it's an animated movie, and then they are casting these people. Why not just use the voice actors that are in the freaking video game? But then she was like, yeah, but think about it like this though. You know, how can they market the movie if they didn't have you get the big names to market the movie? Like that's it. You know, no. So apparently it is live action. I don't know. I read that it was in animated movie. So that is what I was under the assumption of.
I guess it's time for like Hollywood to leave the comic world and just enter the video game world now. Like now they're just going to start.
So apparently it is live. Sorry.
Okay.
But even then, still makes no sense. And, you know, just it's still stupid. So,
Yeah,
I don't get
it's
it.
weird. Yeah. There's also, if we're getting into the movie news, the Dungeons and Dragons movie has Chris Pine, the kid from Detective Pikachu, and Michelle Rodriguez, of course, of Fast and Furious fame. So that's
Of course. Like I said, of course. Why not? Sure.
the fuck is going on.
No, sure. I'm sorry. What's going on?
I don't know.
Did they learn their lesson from the last one?
I don't know, man. It's weird.
They already tried this.
Yeah.
Okay.
We saw about.
Thank you,
in
Bob.
good movie news. Hold
Movie
on.
news.
In good movie news.
Let's hear it.
Good movie news.
Let's hear it. We'll take a break after.
Sonic the Hedgehog 2, baby. It's happening.
Cohh, did you ever see the first one? You don't watch movies. Zeke, did you ever
Oh,
see
it's
the
happening,
first one?
yeah.
I never saw the first one.
was
First
great.
of all, I'm not. It seems like a kids movie, and I kind of not do that. And also, Sonic. I've never been a big Sonic fan.
Same here.
Yeah.
I will say this: as a non-movie watcher, I have mad respect. They apparently like were going to do one thing, and then people were like, "Oh, don't do that," and they were like, "Okay," and then they apparently took it back to the drawing board, and it became a lot better.
Worked
Right?
out.
Is that the movie we're talking about?
Yes. So what happened was they revealed the look for Sonic. So I'm a big Sonic fan. And I was very much looking forward to the movie when it was first announced because I like Jim Carrey. So I was like, okay, this will be fun.
That's right.
You go into a movie like that with the expectation of what it is. It's not supposed to, change the world. Okay. It's not supposed to be one of those movies that it will win an Oscar. It's just supposed to be a fun popcorn film. So that's what you anticipate it for. Right. But they released the Sonic and he looked awful. It was just like, God knows what they were smoking. Apparently it was really strong. And then they made that. They went back to the drawing board. Yeah, it was horrifying. Then they went back to the drawing board and then they made Sonic look like Sonic. Then the movie came out and it was good. It was a fun movie. It was a great movie to take kids to, but it was just an enjoyable film altogether. And then at the end they had like a really big teaser, which I don't want to spoil it. I don't know if I could because who knows. They had a big teaser at the end for like a big character that would be in a potential second movie. And it was just a fun film. And Jason Schwartz, I think that's his name, the voice of Sonic.
Yeah.
Spot on, really good. Like it was just good. It was like a fun movie. And I came out of the theater and I was like, you know what? I'm glad I went and saw that. I put my money where my mouth was. I said, if they fix it, I'd go watch it. They fixed it. I went and watched it, and I did not come out of the theater disappointed. And for that reason, I'm super pumped for the second movie.
There you go.
Can I just say if that spoiler was not Tails or Knuckles, I'm gonna piss.
Yeah, that's where my mind went as well.
Yeah, I said chat. I said don't spoil it, but then chat went and spoiled it. It was Tails at the end of the movie.
Tails,
Tails
okay, well that's cool.
Yeah,
that's that.
Yeah. And then like
Robotnik
had his.
Hold on, excuse me. I think you mean Miles Prowler.
Prower.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I hope they don't do that because I don't doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But
the funny thing is, Golden Boy, that your entire review just now, that little blurb that you just said for Sonic, I could definitely say for Cats, and it scarred me. Like, I was not sad that I went. Well. I'm glad that I went. It was a spectacle. I don't know what I was expecting, but I definitely go see another one. Just for that. Like,
wait, you'd go see Cats again?
Cats 2.
Cats 2. If they did it, I would totally go see it again.
I still have not watched that.
I'd be first in the theater. I might be the only one.
I've
only one there with a fucking ticket going like, let's go.
I've gotten I've literally sat on like buy for Cats multiple times, and it's just not tonight. Not tonight.
No, that's
pass on it.
No, man. Cats is a hard miss for me. Me and my wife saw it. We were sitting in the theater. I don't remember which movie it was, and we were watching, and we saw it, and we saw like all these people just dressed up, and I think Idris Elba was in it, and Rebel, forget her name, the comedian, Rebel Wilson, and I was just like,
Judi Dench,
this is
Sir
me.
Ian McKellen,
Taylor Swift,
Dame Judi Dench, Sir Ian McKellen, it's just so many huge stars.
These are reputable people.
Yeah.
It blew me away every time. I was like, oh shit, Magneto's here. Oh, Judi Dench. Wonderful. Like every time I was like, oh my God. And then you know what? I don't
Here's what I will say.
Watch Sonic, don't watch Cats.
Yeah.
That's the summary of this.
Don't watch Cats. However, Zeke had a very good tweet storm, and there's also I forgot who it was, but it was some movie critic of renown, who did Mushrooms and then went and watched the Cats movie, and it's one of the funniest pieces of media I've read in several years. It's
here's what I was saying.
Oh, also Seth Rogen, I think, did the same thing.
As somebody who's seen much of the feedback of this, don't go watch Cats, but definitely try to find everything you can about Zeke's commentary on watching Cats.
Yes.
Because that is probably better than the movie itself.
I think if you watch Cats, pull up Zeke's timeline of him talking about Cats. You should pin it, Zeke. I think this is good.
Do a podcast.
And then live it. Yeah. Or do a live viewing of Cats. And that is the only way to watch Cats with Zeke. I'll watch Cats if it's with Zeke.
Or a live viewing of Zeke's Twitter feed while he was watching Cats.
True. There it is.
True.
There it is.
I think that's the missing piece right there.
This is content creation right here.
Hashtag content.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
All right. We're overdue for a break. We're going to take one. We'll come back, talk to Zeke about Dungeon Siege, which I'm very excited to roll back the clock to that time, because Dungeon Siege was a great fucking game that I really enjoyed landing back in the day. And then we'll talk some Valheim as well. So
go ahead and paste it in all your chats in case you want to relive the experience.
Great.
There's 2 times I've done this in my life. 2 times I've done like a play-by-play, took a journal. The first time was going to see Cats because I knew it was going to be worth documenting my experience. Second time was when my first time in IKEA. And both of them, I was totally 100% correct to bring a journal and do that.
And a great preview. At 0 seconds, the movie hasn't begun. We are being fed, and morale is high. I'm sold.
I think you can also read the last line because it's not spoilery. There's a lot that happens. He says, the movie is over and I'm alive. I feel like Andrew Lloyd Webber fucked me sloppily in the ear and then stole my wallet. The end. So there's a lot that happens between those 2 statements, and I highly recommend you go and check it out over on Zeke's Twitter.
It is a journey.
Yeah, that's a journey. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back with more Drop Frames with GoldenBoy. Right after this, we'll see you guys in about 5 minutes.